So I'm back again, with this damn network issues in Nigeria. We are always having issues. I'm trying to I'm trying to say something really important, and every time I come to the right point where I'm gonna hit the nail in the head, the damn network takes up. Anyway, earlier on I was talking about those numbers. Both the Fibonacci, the golden ratio, the phi and the pi, everything is interrelated. Everything's interrelated. Now, in the year 2024, which is 5 years from now, the first 100 human beings will leave this world to go on to planet Mars. This guy from South Africa, Elon Musk, is the person that is making that happen. It's not a government thing, it's an individual interest. That's the reason why there's no bureaucracy with that. So now, they're not going on an exploration thing and then they come back. They're going on a one-way trip. Try and think about this for a sec, because with the technology and everything, if you remember what the internet was when it started, how fast it was going. Remember, there was no they didn't merge the phone and the internet. So if you needed to use the internet, you had to go on a computer to do that. The phone didn't have it. Gradually, all that happened. So then we started getting internet. First, we have to get the cameras, of course, on the phone. If I remember clearly, back in 2002, there was no cameras on the phone. 2002. So that's like 17 years ago. I think around 2004 or so, it started coming out. It started with 0.3 megapixel. I don't think many of you have used a phone that had a 0.3 megapixel. But today, we got phones that got camera pixels of up to about 41 megapixel. So technology is advancing, but people are shifting in consciousness. They're not even knowing it because it's just coming out as natural as possible to them. They're not seeing what's going on. Now, when I spoke earlier about those numbers actually, you see, everything in reality exists in numbers. If you understand the numbers, then you'll be able to see the patterns in the universe. And it's not just the universe, the galaxies, the planets, the moons, and that. It's even the people and how we think. Told you earlier that if you take my arm right here and you measure from here to here and measure from here to here and divide it, there's a certain number you get, a ratio. It's about 1.618 something, something, something. Right. It goes on, it extends, but maybe for the short form, we say 1.6181 something and leave it like that. But if I take the measurement of the top of my head to the chin and take these measurements here and divide it, it'll give me that exact same number. If you look at a pine cone, if you look at DNA is so tiny. Earlier on, I wanted to speak about the atom because that's why we have to describe everything that goes on with it. So you see, when you ask somebody, say in school, what is an atom? And then he says, it's the smallest indivisible particle of matter, blah, 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 da, 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 da. That's it. But everything, us, the world, the stars, the moon, everything is made of atoms. There are about 100 elements. An atom has 3 things in it. It's got a proton, it's got a neutron, and it's got electron. Protons and neutrons are connected like this. The electron is going around sort of like an orbit, but not really an orbit, but just try and imagine it in that way. Hopefully you'd understand it. Now, the proton, proton, neutron, they got something inside of them. Now, how do you even see an atom? All right, let me give you a nasty example. Say a samurai, Japanese samurai comes out with his sword and slice me in 2. and takes half of me and slices in two. Every time he slices and slices and slices, that's still Harun Ahmed Amin. There's a point where he will come up. And once he slide past that point, that's the last point that is still Harun Ahmed. I mean, after that, I have lost my identity because at that point, I am the tiniest molecule of myself. Once you divide that molecule, you come back to the atomic level. Hear about these quantum mechanics and they're talking about the smallest things, the tiny things. So for the layman, I'm going to say it like this. All right, let's see. I want you to picture in your mind the size of an atom. I mean, you can't see an atom because it's so small, but try and picture it. So the only way I'm going to do this to you is I'm going to say, let's say between this finger and this finger is 1 meter, like this. This is 1 meter. So if you divide it into a billion, 9 zeros, that one same 1 meter, then you've come to the nano level. The atom is actually smaller than that. So imagine what a single line, if you want to look in between two lines in that 1 meter, you've got a billion of them. They're so small. I mean, you need microscopes to see that. So that's mostly the limit for people who say they know what an atom is. And we thought that was it. We thought that was it. I mean, back in the days, we thought that was it. But eventually, the scientists started experimenting and they started finding out things. Like, for instance, there's an instrument that's used to detect even smaller particles than an atom. That is in Switzerland. It's the largest scientific instrument made by man. It's called LHC, the Large Hadron Collider. You can Google it and check it. It's so big that half of it is in Switzerland. The other half is in France. That's how big it is. It's like a ring. So, don't mind this. Don't think that that's a Freemason sign or anything. I know some people go like this, and that's nothing. All right. It's a ring. But if you step on one side of the ring and go around the ones of that ring that I'm talking about, you'll have to travel 27 kilometers. That's how big it is. So half of it is in France and the other half is in Switzerland. Now, the ring itself, the tube around there is massive, but the whole ring is sitting about 100 meters underground. In a layman's words, it's called an atom smasher because you smash atoms together. So beyond the atoms, inside the protons and the neutrons, you've got the quarks because it's like 3 quarks in a proton or in a neutron. After them, you've got the leptons, the muons, the holders, this, that. They're going smaller and smaller and smaller. Imagine that though, in your mind. I'm talking about a meter divided into like 1 trillion times, not even 1 billion, and try to see in between two lines. Physically impossible. But it's been done. And it's affecting what you're doing. So one day I was doing a little research and then I read something about that instrument that is in Switzerland. Some people say that they are trying to use the machine to open up what we call the bottomless pit. That where the devil is residing, like the bottomless pit. I don't know where people get their crazy ideas from, but like seriously, this science, these things, they've been improving lives. If it was like 100 or 200 years ago that we are existing and we are now, there ain't gonna be none of this. And you're not gonna walk freely on the road and that somebody's always gonna come up and either stab you or rob you or something. People are just killing each other, barbaric lifestyle. It's mayhem then. So we are safer today than there was even 100 years ago. So 100 human beings are going to leave this world to move on to planet Mars in the year 2024, which is 5 years from now. 5 years from now, remember what happened 20 years ago. Remember when, well, if you're not a baby, if you're like around my age, you would remember the times, for instance, here in Nigeria, when you had to go, if you needed to make a phone call, check how funny this one is. You want to make a phone call, you go to a payphone, you have a, what is that thing that they have? The call card, yeah? You got a call card. So you go to where, and it's not like everywhere there's a payphone. There's just a few places that you're going to go to and you find a payphone. So when you get there, you don't see an empty payphone. You don't. You'll have to join the queue. Meanwhile, wherever the hell you want a phone who is in another place is sitting by a landline because there's no mobile phone. So that you are going to call them at a certain time. Maybe you tell them you're going to call them at 4 p.m. And you're coming from maybe say 3:30 because you already know that there's going to be a queue. So you go there, join, wait till you get to your turn. So if you get someone in front of you who's got dough, who's got lots of dough, and he's got lots of units on his card, and he's there, probably not even talking about something important, maybe talking to his girl, and he's there doing his thing, you're just gonna be screwing, feel like you're about to bust, but you can't do shit about it because that's his turn. Just like when you go to the ATM, you can't just bust somebody off the ATM because you want to get quick cash and the other person want to just take his time and take all the cash that he wants to get. You can't do that. You have to follow. So that was the rule then. Do you know the effect of that? While you're waiting to get your turn to make the call, someone else is sitting somewhere near a landline, which is probably not even in their house. They'll have to go to some neighbor's house who have a phone. This just happened like 20, 25 years ago. We was there. You see, my generation is the only generation that's ever existed. What I'm trying to say is the generations before us and the ones after us, that's our children, are worlds apart. These guys before us, our parents, they've been living in the analog world. Our children know about the gadgets. They can't do without that. We know when we didn't have it, and we know we got it now, and we are still improving shit. We are. In our generation, we done more than the whole goddamn world has ever done back in the days. And I bet you all our children and their generation after that, all they're going to be doing, maybe the next big thing they will do is to sit in another world. But we're already doing that. 5 years from now, 100 people are going to be leaving and they're not coming back. Before them, there's going to be a base on the moon. The other day we were talking with somebody and he says, oh, how are they going to land on the moon? That means it's going to be the first humans. I say, yeah. But you didn't know that there are beings living on the far side of the moon, which you call the dark side of the moon. Of course there are. Without our technology, we have never, ever seen the far side of the moon. I mean, it's spherical in nature. I'm trying to get something to use to describe to you. So this is the Earth. That's the moon. No, mate, this doesn't work. Yo, blood. Fucking hell. I need something to demonstrate this stuff, you know, because, all right, let's do a crude thing, yeah? Don't mind me, but just picture it. So, all right. This part of this and this part are two different places, right? Okay, let's say this is the face of the moon that you're seeing, and this is the Earth. So if the moon, okay, let me not just say if, let me tell you what happens. We go around the sun once every 365 days, right? Once every 365, that's why we call it 1 year. And we spin on our axis. That means even though they say this is the sun and we're going around it 365 times days, it takes us to go around once. We are also doing this. We are spinning on our axis like this. So this spin, it takes 24 hours to complete. That's why we have our day and our night. Now, let's put the sun out. Say this is the Earth. Us, we're sitting on here, and that's the moon. And this is one side of the moon. So, you know, if it's spinning as it's going around us, I'll tell you all about that. Something amazing happens. It's the only moon in the solar system, possibly in the visible universe from what we have detected, that does what it does. No other moon, and since we've known, does what our moon does. It's strange. Let me tell you what it does. All right. So this is Earth. The moon goes round. It takes 29 and a half days to go around once. But it also does its own spin on its axis, and it takes 29 and a half days exactly to go around its axis once while it's doing that. You get me? This is crazy if you understand the dynamics of what I'm trying to tell you. But anyway, the effect to you on Earth is that as you're looking at the moon, every time you're looking at the moon is going and it's spinning, but it's doing this. So it's doing this, it's doing this. So only one side we ever see. We've never seen what's going on the back side. We've never seen that. So because we don't see it, we just lay back and think, yeah, that's it. Nothing's going on there. But believe me, I tell you, something's going on up there. In January the 2nd of this year, the Chang'e 4, which is China's spacecraft and rover, landed for the first time, was the first rover that landed on the far side of the moon. Go on YouTube. Go and check it out. You're going to see some strange things, structures, and all that stuff. There's stuff going on. There are structures on the far side of the moon, even on the front side of the moon, that you cannot say that is natural formation. It's not. So strange things are going on even in our solar system. For those who think we human beings are the only intelligent beings, trust me when I tell you, that's the funniest story I have ever heard. And when I say this to you, I'm saying it literally. Go look at the moon, no, not the moon. Go look at the pictures of Mars. There are rovers right there with super high definition cameras sitting on ground. There's not one, there's not two, there's not three, there's many. There's some going around there. There's some sitting there snapping pictures and send it back to Earth. Each of those rovers got its own website. They send pictures once every 4 to 11 minutes. Because as I was saying earlier, I don't know if it was on this video or it was on the earlier one, I was talking about galaxies. I said about the star. Say if you are to go to the closest star to this world, when you look up in the sky and see stars, the closest one to us is called Alpha Centauri. At the speed of light, which is 300,000 kilometers per second, if you're going at that speed, which is impossible, you're never ever going to go on this speed, at the speed of light. But if you were, it will take you 4 years and a couple months or a couple weeks to get to Alpha Centauri and Proxima Centauri, because it's a trinary, not a binary, it's a 3-star system. So that's the thing. But from just our moon, which is 384,000 kilometers away, there are strange activities going on there. Now, if you look at the books, the scriptures, for instance, I learned a whole lot more about astronomy when I was reading the chapter about the sun and the moon's orbit in the Quran. I try not to just read it in Arabic because I can't speak Arabic as a natural language. I can read, but I cannot speak it and understand when somebody speaks it. So I go for the translation. I take my time, carefully read through. You know, sometimes people make a direct translation to whatever they see. You cannot do that. For instance, they might be talking about something way back in during Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's time. They're talking about the end of days. I read a few parts about it. All the signs of those end of days, when they're talking about it there, they didn't have the words or vocabularies that we have today. They don't have that. But they use their own terms. Now, so people today, some, not all, some, try to directly translate something instead of using present day vocabulary to try and understand what people in the ancient times were talking about. But because of this misunderstanding, that's why you got all this violence, all these fights, all these killings, all this torturing women, all this punishing kids, children, children. This country, our Nigeria, has a spatial, unique problem. Every goddamn problem that we're facing in this country boils down to one thing. One thing: leadership. The willingness to take a bold step. We've got the resources. We've got the manpower. We've got the workforce. And we got cultures. We got all kinds of faith system, belief system. But we are one nation. One nation. I'm always ever going to be stressing this to everybody. You see me, Harun Ahmed, I'm not against you. I'm not. I don't care about what your belief is. I'm not against it. That's why I don't care. It's not like I don't care about you. I do care about my country, which means I have to care about the people, which means I can't choose sides, which also means that the priority is always the priority, regardless of whether you like a person or not. You see, over the last couple of months, what I did to myself was I decided to think about what I know. I said to myself, I'm not going to, I said I wasn't going to, excuse me. I said I wasn't going to take sides with nobody. I wasn't going to beef with nobody. I'm not afraid of anybody, by the way. I ain't scared of nobody. And I'm not going to mince my words because someone thinks that, there's some certain words you can say, there's certain words you can't say. Why can't we call a spade a spade? Well, it's okay to torture the children and say, it's from God. It's okay to steal the country's loot and say it's from God. Oh, God. So many churches, so many people going to the mosque, so many people got all this kind of crazy ideology that develop out of frustration. And it's killing everybody. And if you want to do your thing between yourself, men, I don't want that. But if you think that's cool, yeah, go ahead, do it. Well, fucking take the women and the kids out of your equation. What they got to do? What did they do to you? What? So just to piss the next man off, you're going to kill the children and the women, and you think that's life? Tomorrow you say you're a Nigerian? You're not a Nigerian, man. All I know is we need to seriously reevaluate our national curriculum, upgrade the educational system, get the right teachers, because some of the teachers ain't no teachers. They are not. Seriously, they are not. So I'm going to tell you guys something today. I'm going to tell you a secret. I have no qualification whatsoever. Hard to believe, right? Yeah, but it's true. I don't care. If you like, judge me for that. You judge me, what's that going to do to me? Going to be written over on my forehead that you judge me. So fucking what? I don't care about your judgment. I'm not trying to be against you. I don't care about what you think about me or what I say or how I say it. I can swear, cuss words and everything. You don't go around and say, my class and Kabuni, and all that bullshit. Yet, there are people suffering. Just because you're okay don't mean everyone is okay. And just because we're okay don't mean we should just forget about the ones who are not okay. If the President Muhammad Buhari, can hear this that I'm saying, all I will say to him and to the Vice President, because to me personally, I don't know who else got really good faith with our country But all I see is stories and lies and deceit and more stories. All these, I'm gonna do this, or these, that, or forget this one. Let me be the one, and I'll fix you. Look at how we run for politics. Look at how they do campaign in this country. Shows you we ain't doing shit. Go and pay a few tugs, give them a little something to smoke, get high and get out their head. And you promise them some shit. They go fight and kill and maim and destroy and fuck people up for you. And then what? So you win. Then you come and sit down. What you're thinking about is how much pay is getting into your pocket. Every goddamn contract that has been done, you want a piece of the action, and you say you love your country. You're a fucking hypocrite, man. So that's why I don't know no one else but the president, because I know he really actually got, whether we like him or we don't, sincerely, he's got. He wants to give a better Nigeria. Both him and the vice president, Professor Osibanjo. I've heard them speak. I've looked at them. I've looked at all the other people. The other day, I was seeing a video on Facebook, one man speaking in Hausa, talking about he was in a parking lot with Ferraris, Lambos, Bentleys, Land Cruisers, Range Rovers, and all that. And apparently, they are one of the former or still presently Senator Dino Malai. There was everything. And the man was saying, oh, if I can't live with myself if I have these cars when people are hungry. And he's right, but I bet you if he get a little piece, he too will take it, put it in his pocket, and move on. Forget the people that he's there claiming, wilding out. But you see, should I start with saying, dear Mr. President, you and the vice president, I'm going to tell you straight up what I, as a Nigerian, think is going on. I think you've got good intentions for our country, but I think you are surrounded by wolves. As much you have done a lot to stop a lot, capped a lot of holes. I know that. I've seen that happening. But the more you do, the more they open up new holes somewhere else. At the end of the day, there is no reason why Nigeria just got so much natural gas, crude oil. Every goddamn local government of all the 774 local governments that we got in this country has got some kind of solid minerals. And Nigerians, regardless of whether they're Igbos, Hausas, or Yorubas, or any of the 533 ethnic groups that is formed in under the umbrella of 350 languages that exist as one nation, they're all there. Everywhere you go, you would find intellectuals. But there's frustration. Oh yeah, Yahoo boys, 419s and all that. Do you think, seriously, if we take our education seriously, that this potential that they even have the ability even to do the Western world? You say Yahoo boys, they're riding big cars. Of course they do, because they don't even know what to do with their intellectual knowledge. They know how to use the computer. They know how to hack. They know all these stuff. People in the Western world and the Europe and everywhere, they hire in Nigeria's intellectual power, which we could use here. If only. I mean, if you look at the budget, and they say 1 trillion naira, 6 trillion naira, 100, there's just so much trills and bills going on. And kids are still going to school under a tree, under a tree, under a tree. There is no, when you go to the science labs, science is very important. We have a space center. Science is very important. We need to upgrade even that. What I think is, if we upgrade our educational system, reevaluate our national curriculum, improve all science and arts and creativity subjects and vocational trainings, integrate the curriculum right from the primary school all the way to the higher institution, and put all the most important and the best equipment, because we got the dough to do that. Why you got to tell me that $1 billion, $6 billion, $10 billion has been sent to build a primary school? A primary school. The other day I was reading about a lady that was saving her salary for some odd years, I don't know, 20 years or so, and she used that to build 457, to be exact, number of public toilets for the people in whatever country. It wasn't here in Nigeria, of course it wasn't. Then I hear about Roger Federer, the lawn tennis guy, man. That guy is putting how much? Like 10 or 12 million dollars, which in naira is like what? Not more than 4 billion naira, and he is building 81 schools in Africa. And I guarantee he ain't gonna do what we cheap ass motherfuckers who do here, our construction companies, and then they come up, instead of taking out 30 or 35 blocks out of a bag of cement, they want to take 100. Then you have buildings collapsing, you have people dying again. That idiot that builds that house is never going to live in that house. He's just building because he wants so many of them so he can rent now, be collecting money. He doesn't care about safety. Nobody cares about the safety over here. We put infrastructures like, for instance, the here in Abuja, they have the, what's it called? What's them things? What's them, the cameras. Oh, right. Yeah, the cameras. I don't even want to talk to you about how much was paid, was released as contract fee for that. I know what it is. It's ridiculous. Cameras ain't working. They're supposed to have solar panels. You put street lights with solar panels. What I'm trying to say here is that we have no maintenance culture. We do not have it. Once you plug it, you just go. If there's money for, and there's always some paperwork about money for maintaining that shit or the other shit or this or that fucking thing. So it goes into somebody else's pocket. I'm not taking dough, but man, I can't put down my conscience. As much as I want dough, I do not want dough that only I am eating it. What about the rest of the people? Nobody says take money and share it out. Put it to good fucking use. And so all of you, the politicians, I don't know what everybody is doing. I honestly, and you cannot tell me that I'm chatting a lot of bull. Because if I was, we would not be seeing all the shit that we see on the street. 20 million Almajiris on the street. The other day, I was listening to some story about a 12 or 13-year-old girl being forcefully raped by an older brother and his friend who are all married with kids. Do you know how sickening that is? So every time I listen to this track from Tupac, Brenda's Got a Baby, I keep seeing all the Brendas in Nigeria that are suffering in silence. No one does nothing about it. No one gives a goddamn about them. No one does anything for them. We should be one of the most powerful nations in the world by now. If I know what I know, and I don't have a qualification for it, I know many who are like me. Technically up there, they got it. Me, I'm on a different level, completely different. I'm not saying better. I never say I'm better than anyone. All I know is that I'm not with the crew. I'm a lone wolf because my children, my father is the best thing that's ever happened to me. So which means all my children are not just my 3 biological ones. They are every one of the children of my brothers and sisters and all my other friends and my families. Everyone that I call my family is still my family. Let me tell you about my family. My family is one big nation. It's called Nigeria. My family includes 350 languages. My family includes 533 ethnic groups. My family includes all kinds of religions, beliefs, herbalists, whatever you can think about, bad, good, terrible, whatever you want to call it, it's all my family. And we have to come together. We have to forget all these differences. I know when somebody who loves that shit because he's gaining out of seeing war going on, so he can provide money or he can provide some kind of equipment and he get paid for it, doesn't care about what Harun Ahmed Amin is saying. But he can't come up and face me and say it, can he now? He can't. He cannot say anything. If you think what I said is wrong, come online, come against me. But can you? You cannot. What did I say that is wrong? That we need to be better than we are is wrong. We need to stop the stealing of the money is wrong. We need to find a way to cap and stop this stupid ass so-called kidnapping on Kaduna Abuja Road, or the goddamn thing that they're doing in Zamfara, or the other stupid dumb ass motherfuckers that are killing people in the northeast. And you will tell me it's wrong. You know why? Because if there is a devil, that would be you. Yeah, I said it. What are you gonna do better than what you've been doing before? I thought that this fasting this year was gonna change the status quo. You see, I'm so withdrawn from this fucking world because of the shit that we collectively do to the children, do to the women, the helpless one, force them into shit. Force them into shit that normally they will never do, but because they needed to survive, they will be doing all kinds of stuff. Damn, man, this country is fucked up right now. If we're still killing children and torturing, raping, and destroying women, then we are the most fucked up country on the planet. And it doesn't matter what the fuck anybody says. All I know is we really are. And I'll be damned if I let anybody do that, try that to my own. But how many of my own can I do at the same help at the same time? I can't do everything. Can't we just stop the stupid ass killing? Can't we just come together? Now, the other day, someone said, oh, it's Ramadan. We have to be kind. We have to be good. We have to be that. We have to be this. So, only in Ramadan time that we have to do all that? So, what happens in the next 11 months before the next Ramadan? What would happen? Tell me. We are going to what? Go back to the status quo. Killing, destroying, not giving a fuck about our country. I remember one politician that I asked, said to him that you want to run for office, huh? I'm not going to tell you what office he was running for. Well, I said to him, so what are you going to do for the people? I said, oh, I'll do the same normal bullshit ass story. I said, wait, hold on. So do you care about Nigeria? Oh, I'm running for this side of mine. I said, no, you're running for this side of yours, whether it's councillor or chairman or house of rep or senator or governor or whatever, you're still running it in Nigeria. So it means you must have passion for your own country. Say, yes, he has passion. I said, okay, if you do, can you recite the national pledge? You know what? Sort of got, he got angry. He got pissed the fuck off that I had to even ask him that. Can you recite the national pledge? Say, of course I can. What do you think? I said, don't get angry, man. I just asked you a simple question. Can you or can you not? If you can you do it? If not, do you need help? He said, he can. I said, calm the fuck down. There's no need for you to get angry. Go and say it to me then. And then he says that, rise up. I said, wait, man, what's wrong with you? I said the national pledge, not the national anthem. His mention was the guy's running for politics. don't know how to recite the national pledge. How much passion do you have for Nigeria that lets you think you need to be on that level to run for a country that you don't even know how to recite the national pledge? First of all, in the schools, they teach us, in the primary schools and the secondary schools, oh, do the national anthem, the national pledge. But even the teachers who are saying that, they don't even know what they're telling the kids to learn. I mean, it's not like you have to allow someone to cry. That's all right. Okay. I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength, to defend her unity and uphold her honor and glory. So help me God. You have to feel it. I pledge to Nigeria. They ask you, what does that mean? What does it even mean to pledge to one's country? We got the colors green, white, green. We got a coat of arms. Most people overlook it. When you watch, you love watching American movies, Western movies, and all that. See how they portray how much passion they're willing to lay their lives for their country. They start with the flag. If an American flag or a British flag or some European country's flag is flying, whether they're in some other place out their country, and one of them pulls out the, you see how they, oh man, it's almost like religion. And yet we want to claim that we are so religious. And yet, no compassion, no nothing for the common man. This is the month where they say every year you give zakat. Yo, what's the percentage of zakat again? Is it not what? So something like 2.5% of what you got? I said it the other day. Some people will take their zakat and give it to their next door neighbor who's gotten so much dough like the other one too. Meanwhile, kids laid out in the street. The only time you ever think about them kids is when you think you've got something with your malam or your habilis or your this or your that, and it tells you that in order for you to get that promotion or this other goddamn shit that you're looking for on the side, you want to do sadaqah, give alms. Then you go out early morning when usually you wouldn't probably wake up until like 10 in the morning or 11 or 12, or when everybody's finished with the day, that's when you're waking up. And then you go and you say you want to do sadaqah. You go down early in the morning, 6, 7 in the morning, with a big ass car, and go pack right next to me and go say, the akara seller. And you ask for, you pay some good dough to get a whole bulky kose. Line up the kids. And they're lining up, fighting to get their share. And you're dipping your hands and giving them like 3 to 4 pieces. And tell them, Tashka to me. Oh, go, 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 go. I've given you. And next. That you have done sadaqah. And you're so fucking proud of yourself. It's a shame. It's a fucking big shame, man. So this is the month to prove that you are not a shameful idiot. 2.5% of your wealth should go into zakat. If you got ₦1 billion, think about what 2.5% of ₦1 billion is. Do you want me to do that calculation for you? It's 25 million naira. Are you able to take out 25 million naira and take it to the real needy and give it to them? Or you're just gonna buy a fucking camel and just dish out a few meat and freeze out the rest for your personal upkeep and say you have given zakah? Who the fuck do you think you're fooling? You're fooling yourself. You're not fooling God. You're not fooling nobody but yourself. If you think you're faithful, you're so religious, this is the time for you to prove it. You want to go to heaven, right? You want to be in paradise, right? The time for zakat is just around the corner. Prove to yourself. Don't prove to me. I don't care about your money. Prove to yourself that you are capable of the way God gave you, since you believe God gave you all that. Then you have to believe that God also wants you to take out 2.5% of your wealth. Give it to the poor and the needy. Because if you can't do that, if you don't have the guts to do that, then you're full of shit. Whoever you are, I don't care. If I got to give, I'll take whatever I got, 2.5% of that, I'll calculate, and then I give. If it's just puny, even if it's puny, seriously, even that. So I'll let you convince or confuse yourselves into thinking you're so fucking righteous. If it hurts you that I am swearing, then that's your fucking business too. Do you know why? Because this ain't the time no more. How long has it been since we had our independence? October 1960 to now. How many years this is gone? And we're still pulling bullshit. India got our independence in 1957. India is one of the world's spacefaring powers. India's got a spacecraft going to Mars right now. Probably got there already by now. I don't know. I haven't checked it recently. Just 3 years in between us. Korea, Ajakuta steel rolling mill that we have in Kogi State started before the Korean steel plant. And I remember they started with that car back in the days called the Daewoo, and the Sanyong. They started making it out of the progress from the steel plant, which was not as big as Nigeria's one in Ajakuta, and which started after us. From there, the Kia motors that you hear about, you love to buy Kia. We have a Kia motor workshop or showroom somewhere in Abuja and everywhere else in this country. All of that comes from their steel plant, which is not as big as ours. If you go into Ajakuta Steel, I don't know what it is right now, but if you go a couple of months ago, you would have seen made in CCCP, old Russia, USSR. So fucking obsolete. We got refineries, 3 of them. They never fucking work. I never seen a time when our refineries ever work. And every year or every time you hear this TAM, turn around maintenance. You hear fucking billions going out for fixing our refineries that never, ever, ever, ever work. We actually think we're fooling somebody, forgetting that we are the somebody that we are fooling. There ain't no science to this. You don't need numbers to calculate this shit. It's right there glaring us in the eyes. And everybody thinks it's so fucking cool. And when you start posting your shit about how you today, and the worst one is the post that you see about asking for forgiveness. It's the once a year that we ask each other for forgiveness. Man, I'm not asking nobody for forgiveness, you know. Do you know why? Not because I'm stubborn. But look, if I'm gonna say to you, please forgive me for all the bullshit that happened a lot of time, and then I come back again, and then we do another one. Then I wait until Ramadan time to say, oh, if I this, if I that, forgive me for that. Come on, man. It's game over a long time ago. Stop fucking with yourself. You see me? I'll laugh, I'll smile, but I'm not happy with nothing and nobody. As long as every time I'll hear on the news or I'll go out the street and see the child that's been suppressed, has been denied, I'm never ever going to be happy. I had a friend that we were supposed to do something together with. Nighttime, he was talking to me right up to about 2 a.m. Was supposed to write up something. It was supposed to be submitted in the morning. And then something happens. Just a few minutes after I spoke to him, something happened. Something that I didn't expect was going to happen. And it completely turned everything upside down. Now I feel so terrible about the fact that we're supposed to be doing something first thing in the morning with this guy, and then something else happened that drew me out to another place, which is completely uncomfortable for me. So right now, the first person actually sees that I've treated him bad. That type of person, I'll say, I'm really sorry. But I can't tell him why. Because it's not something to say. I promise to keep my mouth shut. I'm keeping it shut. So if he ever is watching this, then he would know that I'm referring to a very important thing. It might have cost him. He might have lost something because I didn't come here. But it wasn't because I intentionally wanted to do that. Something else happened. Something really happened. I hate that it had to happen, but at the same time, I had to. It was a good thing that I was there because I was saving a life. Luckily, I did at the expense of losing a friend. You see my life? This is how it goes, man. I like everybody. I'm not against nobody. But somehow, as I try to be nice with people, I end up becoming the enemy. And I understand that too. But I sincerely don't want to have no nonsense with nobody, like beefing, hating. And I have a few friends from back last year as well, same thing. But one of them refused to understand the goddamn stuff that I was dealing with. Said some stuff. From when he said that, never responded. If he's thinking about some door, something, I left stuff there. I never looked back. That's me. I always pay my dues. I always. The people, when it comes to with me, they never even think dues. They think they're better. They think they're smarter. Then they'll say, I think I am smarter. I don't think I'm smarter than anybody. I got my own thing. I'm in my zone. In this head right here, the kind of stuff that is in here, it's incomprehensible to the average person. I'm not saying this with a brag. I'm saying it because it's real. Look at it however you want, but real is real. Not real the way I see it or the way you see it, but real as it's supposed to be naturally. As I'm looking at my clock, I'm down about 52 minutes on this one. I think I'm gonna have to have a breather. It's like that thing. Is it working? I'm fucking hot, man. What's up, man? This is crazy. I'm telling you, our country is fucked, man. Fuck. Am I lying?
No, you're right.
Did you say I'm lying?
Yes,
Oh,
right.
okay. Okay, he did not say I'm lying. That's my brother right there, yeah. So, but still, we have a problem, and other people are exploiting the potentials of Nigerians. That's why people like my brother right here and all the other people in the UK and the US and all that, they're taken by NASA. Did you know that some of the best doctors in the world are Nigerians? All of this because ours don't do shit. So what you expect the good ones, the ones who really want to do, and they haven't got the opportunity because there's been locked down for them. If you come up with a good, nice proposal for something, someone's just going to steal the fucking idea, put it in his own letterhead, go take the contract, doesn't do the shit that you want to do, and keep the dough in his pocket and just sit there and labor. And he's happy. And say, Inshallah, by the grace of God. The hypocrisy here is so fucking much, man. So, as I said, the world, the universe is way, way, way bigger. Whatever the fuck you think in your head. If you think you know that there's God, you must know how powerful it is by just looking at what he has created. As you have said. But if you don't know how to know this, then you cannot call yourself a faithful. You cannot call yourself that. You cannot say, oh, I've got a good heart. I'm a Muslim, a good Muslim, or I'm a good Christian, and God said it's good to be good and it's bad to be bad, so I'm always going to be doing, and then you end up doing bad. Maybe hide your shit. But when you see someone else, oh, you're going to hellfire. Oh, you. What about you, man? It's always about these bones in our closet. I got mine too. Trust me. I ain't lying. I've got bones in my closet. I got lots of them. But I'll tell you something about my closet. In my closet, there's no giant padlock that is locking it with like a million locks and keys on my closet. There's nothing like that. The doors are closed, shut, but it's unlocked. If you understand this metaphor, then you would understand what I'm saying. So anytime you feel like to know what's in my closet, you want to look at my bones, all you have to do is just open the door, look in there, see whatever the fuck you want to see, and close my door back. But you see, you can't do that, can you? Because you got like, it's like a fucking vault. Yeah, it's like a safe. You can't penetrate it because you locked it. You don't want no one to see your bones, but you're busy looking around for people else's bones. And you call yourself a faithful. Well, if you think you are faithful and I'm the one chatting in a lot of bull, here's your chance. We're in the month of Ramadan, my brothers and sisters. Prove yourselves. Stop chatting bull, man. If you're doing it, you're doing it. If you're not doing it. No one forces you to do anything. But don't act like you're doing it when you're not. Because the hypocrisy in that is too deep. And that's why I'm having a problem with this world. Personally, I'm tired of planet Earth. I'm not going to kill myself. But I'm fucking sick and tired of this world because human being, our very DNA is embedded with evil. Because we think evil shit against one another. And we call ourselves faithfuls. We are not faithfuls. We are deceiving ourselves. Trust me, we are. All of us. So I'm going to make sure this stops at the hour. Right now, as I'm looking at the clock, I got like 2 minutes and about 40 seconds. So I'm going to use that to give you a cue. This part is for His Excellency the President and His Excellency the Vice President. Our space center, the present DG has done a lot of good work in there. But we need to move practically into this arena. We can't just sit down in one corner. So please, I'm begging you, engage us practically and see if we don't move this nation to the next level. Not this next level that people normally say about politics. No, I mean a real level up there at the top. We can't call ourselves the giants of Africa, and yet we're like poorer than most of the African countries, even though we got more dough than them. We cannot do that. This ain't no next level thing. This is reality. I care about my country. Care about the people of my country. I don't worry about where you're from, what language you speak, what religion you follow, what faith system you believe in, or what class you're in, or how much dough you don't got. I don't care about that part. All I care about is my country. Is that so hard to ask for? Let's upgrade our educational system, people. Let's talk about it. Let's get together. One nation, one nation, one nation. I'm going to keep singing this song until the day that I die. If you don't like it, come on, bite me. The one and always, my name, Harun Ahmed Amin, aka The Godfather. Yeah, you heard, The Godfather, whether you like it or you don't.
Are you saying that to the president?
Oh, by the way, my brother thinks that I was saying that to the president. I'm not saying that to the president. I'm saying that to everyone else. The president I love. You hear that?